Welcome to the Level Up English podcast, the best place to come to practice the English language. Learn about the British accent and culture with me, your host Michael Lavers.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Level Up English podcast. I'm sure you're wondering, Michael, what is up with that new intro? What's that weird song at the beginning? Maybe some of you have already figured out what's going on here, but this is, well, I think it may be clear once you look at the title of this episode. So this is a topic that we did a little while ago, a few months ago, and since then it has changed quite a lot. So this is the topic of AI, artificial intelligence, and these kind of automated softwares that make our lives a little bit easier. Most people I know are using things such as ChatGPT or other AI services in some way to help with their work or their life. There may be a few of you who haven't really used it much, and this will be a really interesting episode. But I'm pretty sure we're going to look at some very fun and exciting things for everyone today. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how far AI has come in the past year or so, from my perspective and what I have seen. And I'm going to be talking about a little bit about some jobs, what jobs are at risk of being lost because of AI and automation, sharing some of my predictions for the future more generally, just some ideas that I've had recently. And if we have time, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use AI in my life as well. But yeah, if you haven't already guessed, that intro song was made 100% by AI. I did not pay someone to make it. I did not make it myself. I told an AI service a little bit about my podcast, and it made up the music. It made up the lyrics. Lyrics are the words to a song. So it did that all on its own, which was really, really amazing. I think throughout this episode today, I'm going to be playing a few more songs to break up my monologue, to break up my speech, to make it more interesting. So I have made a few different songs and a few different genres of music to show you. Okay, so I'm going to play these today. So whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on audio, it will be the same. You know, you can experience this AI magic in whatever form you like. So I think it's going to be quite exciting, and we'll get to another song in a little bit. I think I probably won't play the full songs because that would be a bit too long. I'll do like a preview here, and if you want to see the full songs, I will try to upload them on the show notes page. So that will be levelupenglish.school/podcast293. If you go there, you can listen to the full songs and share your opinion, see if you like them. In addition to that, I'm going to be mentioning a few words and phrases today that are maybe a little bit more advanced, and they may be new for some of you. So if you want to learn more about them and practice them with a quiz and other stuff to help you learn, you can do some writing practice too, then this will be available for Level Up English members. As I always like to say, if you want to take your English to that next level, then you can consider becoming a member at levelupenglish.school. Just go to the website and there's a members button at the top of the page. So there's a lot of stuff to look at there. I think I'm going to get right into now some of my feelings about how far AI has come over the past year. It's amazing how far AI has come in the past year. So much has changed and progressed, and it's getting hard to tell the difference between artificial content and genuine human-made content. Anything could be AI. Even I could be AI. Would you even be able to tell? Did I just trick you? No, maybe not. So what you just heard just then was my AI voice, something I've played before on the podcast. But it is quite good, isn't it? I mean, if I did trick you, let me know. But I think you'll agree, it doesn't sound perfect. It doesn't sound exactly like me. So I don't think it could replace me as a podcast host just yet, maybe in the future, but it's still very scary to think about how well AI and computers can replicate our voices. Replicate is a smart way of saying copy, to copy exactly, to replicate. So that's very interesting, isn't it? Basically, I fed the software. If you feed it, it means you give it. I fed the software about 40 minutes of me speaking, one podcast episode. And that is how it learnt how to use my voice. But I think there's still some things that it hasn't quite got perfectly. Maybe if I gave it some more data, like a few hours of me talking, then maybe it would be better. But it's very interesting. I don't know how you guys would feel with your voice being uploaded to some algorithm, but yeah, now mine is out there, so that these companies can do whatever they want with my voice, I suppose. I don't know. But one other thing that I think has changed quite a lot in the past year is just ChatGPT becoming much more useful. I personally haven't used other large language models. I think that's what they're called. I know there are other companies that have made similar ones. I haven't really used any more. ChatGPT is probably the most popular, isn't it? Many of us have played around with that. But I've noticed it's got much better. And it also has a free feature, free preview, where you can use a 4.0, version 4.0, for a limited number of messages per day. Whereas if you pay the membership, you can use that software all day, as much as you want, I think. But I've noticed 4.0 is really, really good. It's a lot better now at making assumptions when you don't give it all the information. So for example, sometimes I will say, can you help me answer this question? And then it will answer the question as if I'm making an English lesson plan, right? And I haven't told it in this question that I'm making a lesson plan, but based on previous conversations, it has made the assumption that that is what I'm talking about because it knows a little bit about my work. So that's really helpful, actually. It saves a lot of time because you don't have to write everything you want, because sometimes it will know what you're trying to do, even if you don't explicitly say, even if you don't directly say. So I guess that also links to another feature that I've noticed, which is memories. This is where ChatGPT can remember things that you told it before, which didn't used to happen. So what I did is I just sent a message and said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, my podcast, my work, and I hope you can remember this. So in future questions, you will, use this knowledge to help make my questions easier. And, now it knows my name, it knows my podcast. So it just makes life a little bit easier for me. So that's very convenient. And the final thing that I've noticed is more integration as well. So I haven't really used anything myself, but I've been hearing about it. And as far as I know, the upcoming, the new Apple iPhone, I think it's 16, and the new iOS, the new software update, will have ChatGPT AI integration. So I wonder how that will look on phones. I think it's going to be a big turning point for how we use our phones in the future. I wonder what they'll come up with, what they'll think of in these smartphone updates. So lots of stuff to possibly look forward to, but I do think with every conversation about AI, it's somewhat mixed, isn't it? I'm sure you will agree, where on one hand, we're kind of excited, but on the other hand, we're a little bit nervous, apprehensive. What's going to happen? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be really bad? Is it the end of mankind? I don't know. I think we have mixed feelings with a lot of these changes, right? And something I'll come back to later is AI beginning to replace a lot of jobs. I'm sure this is happening. It's just my guess, but there's no way it's not happening with many jobs that you might find on a website like Fiverr. Fiverr is a website that you may know, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're self-employed, you may have used it before. It's a kind of website where you can pay people to do simple tasks for you. I've used it myself for making logos. I used it to make the podcast jingle, the podcast intro music. Right, jingle is just kind of like a short, usually a happy tune, happy song that's used in advertisements and marketing. So that's a jingle, a noun. So I paid someone on Fiverr to make my podcast jingle. I wanted to have a nice, unique one that only I have, no one else can really use. So I paid someone there. I've made lots of, I haven't made it. Here's a good grammar structure now. This is called passive causative tense, passive causative voice. And this is, I had someone make something for me, right? So I had someone design artwork for my website. For example, the podcast logo that you can see on your app, that was designed by someone, maybe on Fiverr, I don't remember. And lots of stuff like that is really useful. But I think a lot of these specific jobs now can be done by AI. You can quite easily ask AI to make you a logo, to make you a picture, and as you saw at the beginning, to make you a song as well. So a lot of these things that people might have been paid for before are now becoming automated, which, is quite a shame for people who were using that to make some income, right? So yeah, that's perhaps a negative side. I've even seen people selling AI generated, generate means to make, really, AI generated artwork on the streets. People will print out some AI art and put it on mugs, coasters, bags, and that kind of stuff, posters, and they'll sell it on the street. And I'm not quite sure. I guess it's legal to do that. It just seems a bit, it's very lazy, I guess. But I don't know, it's weird. Like, there's nothing about the image that is, wrong. It doesn't look bad, but it's somehow obviously AI. It's like, it doesn't seem like a human piece of artwork. But I imagine, maybe our parents and grandparents who are a bit older may not notice that. I don't know. I don't think my parents would realize AI artwork from human artwork, but for me it's usually quite obvious, but I'm sure that will change as it progresses in the future. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through different sections, but before each section I'll play one song for you to keep your interest, keep your attention, right? So don't get sleepy, don't get bored. Here is another song that I made with AI.
Welcome to the show today. Let's level up in our own way. Michael got the tips to share. Learn some English if you dare. Level up, it's time to start. Every lesson from the heart. Guests or solo, let's embark. Shine a light into the dark. Random topics every week.
Okay, I think that's quite enough of that one, right? So I just played 1 minute of that one, but if you're crazy enough to listen to the whole 3.5 minutes of that song, you can go to the website and hear more. But this one I called the Level Up English theme song. It kind of sounds like if the Level Up English podcast was an anime or TV show, that might be the music at the beginning of the show, right? But it's interesting. It's very impressive, and it's got like a nice melody with verses and a chorus that repeats. But it does sound very cheesy, right? So I didn't give it the lyrics. The lyrics were made by the AI, and it sounds quite cheesy, right? If something's cheesy, it's like it's too happy. It's like it just sounds a bit. It makes you feel a bit uncomfortable because it's just so happy. That's the feeling I get from this one, but Let me know what you think of that Level Up English theme song. I don't think it will be replacing the main theme song that we use, but I don't know. If you think I do need a new theme song for the podcast, let me know. I can maybe think of a good one to use, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of you may be unhappy because we've used the original jingle for so many years. It would be weird to change it now, even though I'm sure I could find a better one, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, well, let's use that song to help us transition into my next section, which is future predictions. I love thinking about future predictions, and it's also really nice practice for learners to start thinking about different tenses. It could be something just like will or going to, just things like that. Also, I predict that, I envision that. That's very similar to predict. Lots of different words we can use for predictions. I expect that. Many different synonyms here. So one idea that I had was a lot of online content will appear outdated in the near future. And I think it will be quite distinct. There'll be like a BAI and an AAI. I just made up those acronyms, but I mean before AI and after AI. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of the content we see online will be made by AI in the future because it's easier, right? If you think about my podcasts, for example, or think about my videos, at the moment, it's all pretty much all done by myself, right? I'm not really using AI to help me. Today is a bit of an exception, of course. But in the future, I'm sure it will be possible to make intros with AI, make subtitles with AI, make animations with AI for the videos. What else could be AI? Even editing. I know this already exists. A lot of the videos you see on TikTok may be AI generated, where they take a long podcast episode and AI cuts it into shorter clips automatically. It's not perfect at the moment. It's not always good at deciding where to cut the clips, but that already exists and it's only going to get better in the future. And imagine, firstly, stuff that can be made with AI one day is going to be far superior than what a human can do. So if I start using AI more and more, then you might see a big change in my content production quality, where it's very obvious that this video was made before AI was used. Does that make sense? That's my prediction. Anyway, that's one prediction I have. And connected to that, similar kind of topic is, I think a lot of content online will become increasingly, means more and more, diluted. We're going to learn that word. So it's going to be more and more diluted with AI-generated posts. Right? Posts made by AI. And we already see this. I see it quite a lot now when I'm searching on Google for something. I'll click on a few websites and it's very obvious to me the website is not made by a human. It's an AI-generated list of things that are trying to answer questions, but it's not really answering the question very well. It's quite obviously not made by a human. And I'm seeing this more and more and more. And I think everyone will probably predict that the future of the internet may look a little bit more boring than it is now because, AI has no limit to how many websites or posts or videos it will be able to make, right? So it's just going to be everywhere in the future. When you want to search for something, there will just be 1,000 AI articles and one human written article. And of course, the same goes for videos, audio, and anything like that. And I really don't know what we're going to do about that. It just sounds kind of like a bit boring. I don't know, not a nice place to be. I don't know if we're going to try to do something to avoid this AI content, or maybe we'll embrace it and it will just become normal. When you Google something, you expect to see AI content. You're not even expecting human-made content anymore. I don't know, but it's very interesting. Let me explain what that word diluted means. So, to dilute something means to make something weaker by adding something to it. Let's use vodka as an example. Vodka is a very strong alcohol, and because of that, it tastes very bad. It doesn't have a nice taste. So many people will drink vodka, but they will dilute it with something else. For example, orange juice. If you put orange juice in vodka, you're diluting it, adding more liquid, but the taste of the vodka gets better and the strength gets weaker. So one sip is not as much alcohol as pure vodka, of course. So that's what diluting is. It's making it weaker. Usually we use it with liquids, but we can use it with other things like information as well. If it's 100% human written content, that's maybe how it used to be. But the more AI content that gets added, it dilutes the information on the internet, makes it weaker, not so good, right? So that's a really good advanced word to use. Dilute. Another prediction that I have, which is not so much a prediction, maybe more an observation, because I've noticed this, I've observed it in myself. And this is thinking less creatively. People thinking for themselves less. And what's really interesting about this is our creativity is one of the things we thought was safe. Okay, robots can do many things, but they can't do creative things. They can't make artwork and they can't take our creativity away. But it seems to me like that is kind of happening. There are many things that I will use ChatGPT for that stops me being creative. Before, for example, with lesson plans for my group classes, I would have to think really hard about, okay, what topic should I talk about today? What's a good topic? And I still do, to be fair, but sometimes if I have no ideas, I will say, okay, ChatGPT, here's a list of the last 100 lessons I taught. Can you suggest some more lessons similar to these? And it will think of some new ideas that are kind of in the same area of what I do. And, I still have to make the lesson and think about the activities in the lesson, but it does take away some of the effort for me. And I'm thinking less creatively. I'm using my brain less than before. And if that keeps getting worse, will we just do AI for everything? Will we even use our brains anymore? Who knows? Where will it end? Who knows? So that's one thing I worry about. One final thing on my predictions is, again, about the internet. And that is, I think the internet might become a really annoying place to be. Kind of like what I said before. But, for example, I see a lot of people arguing on the internet. And I also see more and more bots. So these are, programs that write comments and post things, and they're not really done by people. It's all automatic. And I even see like a bot posting a video, posting a message, and people getting angry at that message, not realizing they are getting angry with a bot, right? And I think this is going to get worse and worse in the future when if you get into an argument with someone online, or even just a conversation, it doesn't have to be an argument. How do you know if they are a real person? You might be arguing with a bot. That's short for the word robot, a bot. So essentially, you're just arguing with a wall. You're talking to nobody. And I don't know if that will stop people from conversing as much online, or maybe they'll keep doing it anyway, and the AI will try to get people more and more angry because that is what gathers attention and clicks and money in some cases. So that's going to be interesting, isn't it? You never know if someone is a bot or a human online. Could I even be a bot? I think I'm real. I think it's me. But it does make me wonder if we're going to focus going forward more on. By the way, that's a good phrase. Going forward just means in the future. So going forward from now, are we going to focus more on old-fashioned activities? Maybe we'll get outside, do some gardening, go for a walk. Maybe we'll focus more on seeing people in person in a cafe rather than chatting online. I don't know. It just feels to me like online life is going to get, I guess the boundary, the border between what's real and what's generated online, what's fake, is going to get less clear in the future. Just some things I've been thinking about, but I'm sure we could go on for hours with predictions. So if you have any more predictions, let me know. Let me know what you think about them. But anyway, I think now will be another good time to show you my next song. I've got a couple more today. And if you like rap, this may be a good one for you. So this one I'm calling the Level Up Rap. Now let's see how the AI did with this one.
Tune in for Michael talking level up the lexicon. British vibe in your ear, shout to Babylon. Lessons for the masses, wisdom like a marathon. Solo or a guest, mix it up phenomenon. From London to Tokyo, expanded every mind. Speak the lingo of the global grind. Level up your game, leave the old ways behind. In the world of words, find the treasure that you sought to find. Level up on the level up. English so sharp, it's got the world shook up. Tune in, level up, ain't no time to stop. Michael got your back, riding high on top. Grammar tips with finesse, master the syntax. Turn conversation clean, no need to relax. Vocabulary's hot, fire like a phoenix. Building towers with those words, skyscraper linguistics. Dialogues precise, deep as a poet's muse. Guest insight sparkling, knowledge you can't lose. Every episode's a gem, don't hit snooze. Earbuds in, learn on journeys or a home choose. Level up on the level up. From the basics to advanced, build the knowledge.
Okay, that's enough of that one. What do you think, though? I was very impressed by this. Again, the lyrics are a bit strange, but I suppose that's because we're rapping about learning English. It's not the coolest thing to rap about, is it? Usually it's going to be something a bit more interesting for a song, anyway. I know English is interesting, but maybe not so much for a song. But yeah, I mean, I thought the beat was really good. The beat sounded great. It also made me wonder if people will be using AI more in conjunction with, that means together, in conjunction with their own creativity. So maybe I love to rap, but I don't know how to make music. So I might use this beat generated by AI and then use my own rapping to go with the beat, right? So that's one possible way that maybe people already are using AI. But yeah, I suppose you'll have to let me know which song is your favorite today. We've got 2 more songs coming up of different genres, so stick around for them. For now, I want to talk about, I'm going to be a bit negative, then a bit positive. So I'm going to try to cover both. And this will be jobs that I fear will be lost because of AI and automation. Many of these are already in the process of being lost. They're decreasing in number, and I'll list through a few of them now. So first of all, these are customer service jobs. Things like, if you go into a shopping mall, by the entrance you might have like a customer service desk where they give you information, directions, just help with whatever questions you have. But to be honest, they usually don't seem very busy. There's not usually people talking to them. And I wonder how easily they could be replaced with AI. If you just imagine an AI system in a computer, like a touchscreen computer, and you can just speak, tell it what you want to know, and it will just tell you, okay, this shop is on this floor. Oh, we don't have this product in stock today, so come back another time. Something like that. And probably it will be much faster than using a human who would have to, okay, let me check for you. Okay, let me call my manager. AI would know everything about that shopping mall, every shop, every product in every shop. It would be much more useful, wouldn't it? I'm not saying that I support it because people would lose their jobs, but it would be very useful for the customer. So I'm sure that will happen quite soon. There's also a thing that I remember on a game called Mass Effect. I love the Mass Effect series. And they had something similar. They had it like advertisements where they would have tailored adverts for each person. Tailored means personalized. It's made especially for you. Tailored adverts, it doesn't sound very nice, does it? But probably it will happen. But I think we can use this in many different ways, where if you walk into a shop, this also happened in the Mass Effect games, the AI would remember you, maybe it would scan your face or something, and it would say, for example, "Oh, welcome back, Michael. That jacket you bought last year, we have a new one in stock in the same size," or something like that. It would remember what you bought before, remember, what you like. It would learn about you, which I think most of us would agree that sounds quite scary, but it's plausible. That means it's believable. I think it could happen. Other jobs, obviously, like customer service on websites, call centers, these are already being replaced with AI. On websites now, you have a chatbot rather than a real person. Sales staff whose jobs are quite repetitive, maybe in shops, banks, that kind of stuff, where they're doing a lot of the same stuff all the time. That could be replaced fairly soon. Something I mentioned in the previous episode, teaching English, could that be replaced? I obviously hope not, because that makes me feel very scared that my job could disappear. But I'm always a little bit on the fence, which means undecided about these kind of jobs, like, for example, teaching, coaching, therapy, that kind of stuff, where it is a service, but also there's a human element to it. Teaching, I've found, teaching is not only about giving information, because if you want information, you would just go to Wikipedia or something, right? But a big part of the teacher's job is motivation, support, maybe emotional support, and all these kind of things that I think it's easier with that human-to-human connection, right? It's much harder to get that with an automated system. And of course, things like therapy are even more important. So that's my hope, anyway, that these will be safe for a while. Another thing I've noticed is jobs like cleaning and janitorial jobs. That just kind of means cleaning job. These are slowly being replaced or automated in many airports and train stations now. I've seen these kind of automated cleaning robots. It's kind of like a Roomba, if you know a Roomba, but a really big one that has a cute face on the front. If you go to Heathrow Airport, you'll see these kind of zooming around independently, cleaning the floor as they go. Whereas before, even just 1 or 2 years ago, maybe, this would have been a person who was doing this, always kind of trying to run you over, it felt like. But now it's a robot that does it. I don't know if those people have lost their jobs, or maybe they're just transferred to another area of cleaning. But yeah, that's interesting. And I think more and more, a lot of cleaning jobs will become automated because they are very repetitive. Some are quite specific, like cleaning a toilet. Maybe not so easy for a cheap robot, but eventually they will be. Someone on Reddit had a very interesting opinion because there was this question, what jobs will be lost to AI? And one of the commenters said all of them. And their reason was very interesting. They said, if a person makes $50,000 per year and they work, 8 hours a day for 20 years, that will be about $1 million. $1 million for their 20 years of work. They mentioned a specific robot and they said this robot costs $150,000 to make. So with that in mind, that means 3 years of that person's work is worth one robot. So after 3 years, the robot will have paid for itself already, and the company will be making profit. And to be honest, it's even less than 3 years. It might even be just 1 year, because a human can only work 8 hours a day. A robot can work 24/7. They can work around the clock. That means 24/7. They're much more efficient than humans in terms of not getting tired. So when you look at it that way, on like a long-term profit, it seems like most jobs will be replaced eventually because it's profitable to replace them. I think the main problem, well, two main problems. One is that first initial investment. Initial means first. And the second problem is the technology, right? With some jobs, like, as I said, teaching, the technology is not there yet, but in the future, only money will be the thing that's in the way. Let's listen to another song now. Were you getting bored? Okay, let's do one more song. This one might be one of my favorites. This I'm calling Level Up Techno. It's a nice electronic song. So let's have a listen to this one.
Learn and grow here. Michael's voice is clear. Topics fresh and near. Global friends we cheer. Tones unite, every word in sight. Brighten up your night, English feels so right. Level up, let's go. English skills will flow. Listen, learn and know. Podcast lights are glow.
Okay, you get the idea now, right? You get the idea. But yeah, I think that one's my favorite, possibly. We've still got one or two more we can look at, but again, the lyrics, cheesy, a little bit weird, but the actual music, the melody, the instrumental part of the song, I really liked. It's actually very enjoyable. You know, if you heard that song in a bar, maybe even a club, supermarket, you probably wouldn't really think much about it. It just seems like a normal song in some contexts. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious though. I'm really curious, but I guess I can ask you now, when it comes to AI music, would you ever consider listening to a song that you knew was made by AI? Now, let's say you liked it, it sounded good, but it's made by AI completely. Would you listen to it? I guess I'm not sure personally. Like, I feel like I feel like I could enjoy it, but there's also an element that if you know it's not made by a human, it doesn't have any depth. You know, it doesn't have any emotion. They can replicate emotion. They can sound sad or happy, but you know it's not real emotion. There's something about that knowing which is important, right? But yeah, that's interesting. There's also some cases where I will be listening to a song that is like 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect, but there's a few elements of the song that I don't like. I think, how cool would it be if I could change this song slightly with AI? Or maybe I'm listening to like a rap song and I'm thinking, if this rap song was like, it had some electronic elements too, that would sound really good. I wonder if AI could help me do that. You know, I might try to experiment with that in the future when the technology gets better. But I'm still on the fence. But we can say, here's a good phrase. We can say, I'm cautiously optimistic. Optimistic means positive. Cautiously means you're not really excited. You're kind of a bit nervous, but mostly positive. Cautiously optimistic. Let's just mention now a couple jobs that I think will be difficult to replace, just to end on a bit of positivity, and maybe some of you are doing these jobs and you'll be happy about it. I think a lot of the jobs that will be safe for some time will be kind of manual labor jobs, like service jobs, like plumbing, an electrician, that kind of stuff. A plumber is someone who fixes and installs pipes in a home, like from your bath, tub, toilet, sink, these kind of water pipes. And I just think to do that, to automate that, would require very advanced robots, because it's quite physically challenging. You have to go crawl under these cupboards and fit these pipes together. And there are also so many variables, If you have a broken pipe, there's many different types of pipes and many different ways to fix it, and it just seems like a very challenging thing to do for robots. Same with like an electrician, right? So many variables, so many things that could go wrong. But one thing that I do envision, remember that means predict, is AI working with humans to solve a problem. So for example, I'm just kind of imagining a future where a plumber might have some kind of tool that can analyze, like scan a home, scan all the pipes in someone's home. Maybe it can see through walls or something like that. I don't know how. And it can identify where the problem is. Like, oh, there's a leak in this pipe here. And it might even suggest or recommend some tools that you need. It's like, okay, you will need this pipe. I've just ordered it for you online. You will need this tool. You already have this tool in your van. And, that kind of stuff. So, maybe AI can take away a lot of the figuring out problem solving, but maybe we still need humans to actually fix and implement the solutions to these problems for some time. That's just one idea. Another one is things like hairstylists as well. Maybe one day, someone who can cut your hair, like an AI robot can cut your hair. You just show it a picture of what you want to look like and it can do that. But again, to me, there just seems to be too many variables. That means too many things to do. For example, everyone has different hair. No two people have the same hair pattern, style. There are also many hairs on your head, of course, that they all fall in different directions, it would be quite difficult to program a machine to understand that. And I just think things like that. Maybe we like the human touch, the conversation with the stylist and stuff like that, and also having sharp objects near your head from a robot is not something we will be eager to do, right? And the final one I want to mention is a huge topic, and I'm somewhat mixed about this one, but this is the justice system. So if you think of a judge, someone who sits with their hammer and they tell you how long you're going to go to prison for your crime. That's a very interesting one, right? Because on the one hand, there are many instances, many cases where people get sent to prison wrongly. Innocent people might go to prison for a crime they didn't commit, which is a really horrible situation. It's something that is, I think, really unavoidable with human judges. It's just unavoidable. It's going to happen to some people in the world, right? And it's really, really horrible. And on the one hand, you have to wonder if you had a robot, AI, like an algorithm, deciding who is guilty and who is not, maybe they would be more accurate with their judgment and they wouldn't send people away unless they were really sure, right? But I also feel it's quite important for a judge to have a certain level of emotion and humanity, right? So, for example, let's say someone stole some food from a shop. They stole some food. I think it's quite different, right? Someone who is stealing food just because they want to cause some chaos. They like to see people lose money and suffer. That's a bad person. Conversely, on the opposite way, on the other side, someone who's stealing food to feed their family because they are starving and they are desperate for food, a judge is likely to think of that much more differently. They're not going to be so strict on that person, hopefully. And I think we would all agree there is a difference. It's not just about the crime, it's about the context in which the crime takes place. So it does make me wonder if AI will ever have a place in a courtroom. It also makes me think of a lot of movies that I've seen. The one that comes to mind is the one with Tom Cruise. What's it called? That's it, Minority Report. I watched it on the plane this year. If you've seen Minority Report, if you haven't seen it, great movie, I recommend it. But if you've seen it, you know what I mean, where it's like a system that predicts what crimes will take place in the future. So it's arresting people based on crimes they are about to commit. So in one sense, it's really good because there is no more crime. There's no one being murdered, no one being hurt or attacked, because this software predicts what crimes will happen and arrests the person before it happens. But it's quite a controversial thing in the movie because it's like, wait, I haven't done anything wrong. Why are you arresting me? Maybe I was about to, but I haven't done it yet. At the moment, I'm innocent. And the whole film is about, whether this machine can be trusted. So if you've seen that movie, you know what potential problems could come about because of this technology. We'll just have to see how it goes. Okay, I think we'll listen to one more song now. This is another great one, and this is a metal theme. I love heavy metal, and I think this one sounds pretty good. Let me know what you think of this one. So let's hear one more before we continue. Very good, right? I like the lyrics of that one. Again, very weird. It might be the first ever heavy metal song to sing about learning English. One lyric I liked was Michael's voice, guiding light. That was a nice one, wasn't it? Yeah, very cheesy. But yeah, again, let me know what you think. Let me know which song is your favorite from today. We've had rap, techno, metal, and a couple others as well. And I'm going to play one more as an outro to this podcast. So I hope you can stick around to the very end because I'm going to play us out with an outro. But before we get there, I think I'm just going to finish up and do a couple thank yous to some reviews on Apple Podcasts. One of these was from Dan Cal, who said, I really enjoyed episode 22, where you discussed TV shows for improving English. I'd like to add a few recommendations from my own experience. 1. Coupling, a hilarious British sitcom that's great for learning everyday expressions and humour. 2. The Office UK version. I remember you mentioned the American version in episode 9, but the original British one is fantastic for authentic language and cultural references. Have you had a chance to watch the UK version? And 3, Afterlife, a touching and witty show that offers a lot of natural dialogue and vocabulary. Thanks for the great episode and valuable recommendations. So first of all, thank you so much, Dan. If you're listening in order, it might be several years until you hear this episode, because episode 22 was a long time ago, but I do remember it well. That was a good one. And to answer your question, I have not seen most of the ones you mentioned. Coupling, like couple and then ing. I've heard of it. I'm sure it's good, but listeners, you can check that one out. Coupling. The Office, I haven't really seen the UK version. I've just seen a few scenes on YouTube. And I don't know why, it doesn't really appeal to me. I don't actually watch many British shows, to be honest, but I'm sure that would be a good one to watch if you want to see a bit of, British humour and British culture. Watch the UK Office. And Afterlife, also with Ricky Gervais in it, I think. And I've seen a few episodes of that. It's, as you said, it's touching. It's quite serious and it can be quite sad, but also funny as well. It's got an interesting mix of sad and funny. I think British humour is good at, making jokes about sad things as well. But personally, I found it a little bit too depressing. I just found that I was watching it and I was feeling a little bit down and sad afterwards. So I decided to give up, but maybe I'm just a bit more sensitive. So maybe you can enjoy that one. But yeah, thank you again, Dan. Those are great recommendations. Really appreciate it. One more review here from a new country, Sri Lanka, somewhere I'm thinking about going very soon. And this is from Inuki Kavinya, who said, when I was looking for a podcast to expand my listening skills, I saw your podcast accidentally. This really helps me not only improve my English, but also develop my general knowledge. Thanks a million for this priceless help. Thank you so much, Inuki. That's very kind of you, and I'm very happy that you found it useful and enjoyable. So thank you so much. Before we get played out by our nice outro song, let's get a quote from Sundar Pichai. I actually don't know how you pronounce his name, but this is the CEO of Google, who said, AI is one of the most important things humanity is working on. It's more profound than electricity or fire. Wow. Let me know if you agree. Profound means kind of deep, important. Do you think it's more profound than electricity or fire? I definitely see how it could be, but let me know what you think about anything we have spoken about today. You're always welcome to join in the conversation on the podcast show notes page. Okay, I'm gonna end it here, but let's listen to this nice song. Basically, how I did this is I wrote the lyrics to this song. I said, here are the lyrics. Can you make a song using these lyrics? So this one's a little bit different from the ones we looked at before. But let me know what you think. I think it's quite good. I quite enjoy it. Let's have a listen. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Level Up English podcast. I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. This podcast has been hosted by Michael Lavers.